Hello everybody and welcome back to Analog Vernacular. Today we're going to be playing some more Rogue Trader. We are at the Navis Nobilite looking for Lady Cassius, who is basically being held by some traders here at this home base of a bunch of navigators.
Keep your wits about you.
Ooh, thank you. Yeah, having that pause on is very good.
Never doubt me.
I would never, Argenta. You are a raging racist against magic users, but you know what? Like, that's a thing, I guess. Navigator flesh sample. Man, what do we need all this stuff for? Why do they all have those
rise to the top?
golden highlights?
Get left in the dust.
Idira, stop castigating yourself. Your soothsayings have always been vague. Even if you had her, who among us would have realized that it was Lady Theodora who was in peril?
Okay, looks like we missed something in there. Might want to go back for that.
Pay attention. Carry the Emperor's will as your torch.
Okay, so this one has a line. Oh, enemies too. Okay, let's do a quick save before going in here. Did you hear the screams? Move! Sir, are you alright? We can't hear anything. Was it warp stuff? Chaos? Now I see you are in league with them. Is this an insurrection? Yes, indeed. Death to the traitors. That might be a warp thing. Sir, what are you doing? Get a hold of yourself. I know you are all traitors. Traitors, all of you. They told me. They whispered. Hey, who are you? Oh shit, he died. What the? Guard defender dies, exclamation mark. Yeah, that is what happened.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Research notes of Navis Laboratorum, Custodian Fortunata Orselio, Part 13. Keeper Theobald graciously agreed to provide samples of his skin growth so we could study the influence of the rebellious Immaterium on the flesh of the Navis Nobilite. Just as we thought, navigators are positively resistant to the restless currents of the warp. The God Emperor truly does shield some people against corruption and misery. But let us get back to the study of mortal flesh. Another servant will be carried in shortly. I must ready the organ extraction equipment. Adamantine dust and black water, this was the worst idea that could have entered my mind. God Emperor be praised, I am lucky to still have my head on my shoulders after this reckless experiment. Nevertheless, we did make an important discovery. The adamantine seems to protect the frail flesh of the lowborn to a degree. Having said that, not even the macerator can handle its temper, so we should probably introduce a more complex compound into the formula. All of the data related to the experiment were recorded to data crypt K040H. I will get back to them later, once I am done with experiment H410K. K040H. We don't have that one. Have I mentioned that the chunk of meteorite found by Keeper Felix subjects is completely useless? Although its shining granules could be used to make new paints for the child. Yes, I think I'm going to do exactly that. I wonder if that's a hint to something we're going to need to do. Okay, 50-50s, huh? We've got the whole party, so it'll choose the most successful person.
Success is the only outcome I accept.
I'll take it. Oh my goodness. Morlocks? Ooh. That looks like a sniper. 14 to 20? Dodge reduction 30. Additional hit chance 25%. Okay. Very cool. And what about you? You're kind of similar to the other one, except you don't have that dodge reduction. So actually this is going to be this is a replacement for you. Yeah, since it's not a heavier armor. Like, that's just better. Who can effectively use this? Can everybody equip it? Can be equipped. Can be equipped. Maybe this will be your secondary. And we'll try this on you. I don't understand how these use. Because it still has a... Huh, I don't know. Okay, well, we got in anyway, so our 50-50s are working out pretty well at the moment. I will not complain. There isn't like a control panel that unlocks these, right?
I always keep my options open.
No, I don't think so. There's nothing in here we could interact with. Okay, just wanted to be sure. That one's not locked.
I always have a backup plan.
Hello? We are done for. They'll kill us all. I can't take this anymore. For some reason, the arch enemy's twisted influence has found its way into the station. Oh. Little touch of chaos there. Interesting. Uwe, you have a name. Can we talk to you? Let's see. For some reason, the arch enemy... No. Received rough, bloody sketch? That's all you did? Uwe has had his tongue cut off, just like the rest of the lesser servants of the House Valancius. Okay. And this sketch? A crumpled sheet of paper with a drawing of a tall woman and a dark-eyed monster painted with fresh blood. Okay, nobody else had a name. Awaken the cogitator spirit. The vid screen is covered in cracks and stained with dried blood. The button switches and levers were ripped out of a control panel with exceptional cruelty and scattered around the sacred mechanism that now sparks and hisses in agony, still refusing to perish. Awaken? You turn a few of the remaining dials and pull the activator lever. The cracked vid screen of the sacred engine flickers, the cogitator's insides emit creaks and groans, and the lumens oscillate at random. It takes a while, but eventually the machine spirits do grant you access to the cogitator system. Okay. Interesting. I don't know if I want to do that. They don't seem to welcome outsiders very much. So I don't know if calling Rycat is a good idea. Main elevator controls. A few manipulations with the switches make you realize the elevator to the upper chambers is blocked. Activate it. Processing query confirmed. Return to the list of available commands. Does that mean that that worked? Or is it actually blocked? Request data on the station's navigators. After a brief pause, the data appears on the vid screen. Phallic Orselio, main hall, status alive. Ooh, there's only 2 alive. Theobald Orselio, location upper chambers, status alive. Deceased. So Phallic and Theobald are the 2 fighting each other, so that's interesting. So I bet you that if we had sided against Phallic, I wonder if Theobald would end up being our new navigator. I wonder if you get to choose between the 2 is what I'm saying. The child location, upper chambers, biometric parameters, rapid heartbeat, elevated body temperature. The child. Is this another navigator though? Stress level exceeds the permissible limit, status unknown heir. Attention, calming procedures advised. Attention, upper chambers inaccessible. Heir, the control rod is not present. If the rod has been misplaced, immediately contact a station keeper or the Navis Laboratorium custodian. Okay, switch to the main chamber controls. The cogs within the sacred mechanism slowly start turning with heavy grinding and clacking. The tired machine spirits grant you access to the station control, or at least its parts that still obey the cogitator. Open all doors on the level. The cogitator's vid screen goes dark as if the machine spirits had fled their mechanical casket, but your assumption is incorrect as it fills with static just a few moments later. You can barely make out the inscription amidst the flow of rapidly changing symbols. Warning, data corrupted, processing, error. Uh-oh. I don't know what we did. Oh dear. Oh no, what did we do? Hey, okay. You know what? Good. I'm gonna call that a success. The protocol has been executed, the passage has been opened. Sure, whatever you say. Hey, we opened 2 things apparently. Call Rycat Minoris for help. Let's try it. Cannot carry out your command despite the eager compliance of the machine spirits. One thing is certain, the problem does not lie in the cogitator's mechanisms. Okay, examine the report. The data crypt is partially corrupted. The Vox report. This is Officer A2A2, do you copy? Several generators overheated on the lower levels. Chamber A and D are unpowered. Tech Priest crew sent to investigate the problem is not responding, requesting backup. Officer H123 speaking, 200 servants have perished due to explosive decompression of the living quarters. We've located traces of mechanical interference. The preliminary cause is officer sabotage. Crews 5, 6, and 9 are cut off from the main compartment. We have enough oxygen for 20 minutes. May the Emperor save our souls. That's rough, buddy. Senior station officers, this is Captain speaking. We attempted to contact the Winterscale Scion for help, but something is jamming the signal. We never received a reply and cannot be sure it was even sent in the first place. So the Voxes are being, blocked. A rescue team is not coming, we are on our own, so remain vigilant. Anyone could be a traitor. You hear me? Anyone. If you are in doubt, shoot to kill. Okay. Incident log. The servants close to the child have started butchering one another again. An order came from above to have the remains reprocessed. The negotiations with the Winter Scales were a success. A new batch of servants will arrive in 10 moons. Escort them to the laboratory at once. It is imperative that we increase the new retainer's resistance to the child's power. What is this child? Data expunged. Examine the docking log. Identity confirmed. Region Aranto or Celio. Data visit classified. Reason for visit classified. Classified. Security and life support. Okay, whole bunch of errors. Evacuation warnings. Encrypted data. Required access level, security captain or above. Current access level, senior security officer. We'll try. Now, if I remember correctly, the tech use 25. 25 is harder than a higher number, right? Lower numbers are harder, higher numbers are easier. So, looks like our chance is 58%. Break through the Machine Guardian's defenses. Succeeded. You easily bypassed the restrictions imposed on the sacred machine. The cogitator's overloaded processors were unhappily for experience. Most of the encrypted data has been wiped. You find traces of the purge protocol. Recovery is impossible, but a list of the most recent commands have been embedded in the machine spirit's consciousness and now fits across the screen in a single creeping line. Child, delete, picture, flow, disable, access code, annul station controls, delete, activates, shuttle, self-destruct, purge command log. Exploring the archives for a while longer yields a surviving excerpt from the guard captain's report, mentioning that the security system had recently been reconfigured without his knowledge. His comment reads, "Only the keepers of the station have access to the life support systems, but Keeper Theobald had not left the child's side and neither had I. Could it be that..." Interesting. I don't know if everybody's being honest with us. So let's see, the one that we met out in the hall was not Theobald. Theobald is the one that supposedly betrayed, right? And he's been with the child, whatever the child is. And this implies that maybe the guy that we met out in the hall might have been the one who stopped the life support systems? Is that what I'm supposed to understand here? Why does it doesn't tell me the name? I'm trying to remember everybody's name. All right, interesting stuff.
Is there money to be made?
Okay, we don't need to do that because we got in through this door. Grants a bonus to willpower. Lore warp.
My whispers crave entertainment.
Okay, can't open that door. 75% is pretty good. +5 bonus to persuasion. Oh, you already had gloves. Yeah, that's right. I want you to keep that. Everybody's tech use is 30, so it doesn't matter who has this, but... Okay, so that just moved some of that so that we could access that loot. Didn't take us anywhere. Okay. Heresy has found its way into the walls of this esteemed house. It is a black day for the Navis the Navis what? Can you just stay at the bottom unless I tell you not to? Nobilite. Okay, there was a piece of loot somewhere over here that we missed.
Keep your wits about you.
Over there.
Ooh, that was a skill check for good. Okay, good to know. We actually need to be a little bit careful about stuff like that. Let's see, a 3 to 5. What's so special about this one? Oh, it has a high rate of fire. Rate of fire 8? Okay. Interesting. Is that best on you? No, probably not. Let's keep that on you since you're not going to use it as much, but you have reasons to use a gun every once in a while, so that might be a good call right there. Okay, we'll try that out. We'll try that. Because of the rate of fire, the burst stuff might actually be really effective. We'll try it. So hidden loot is a thing in this game.
Rise to the
we'll have
top,
to keep that in mind.
or get left in the dust.
Okay, this is the lab. The caustic stench of reagents sears your nostrils and broken glass crunches underfoot. Somebody wanted to destroy the laboratory or find something. Okay, Medicaid check. Someone disrupted this experiment in the most brutal fashion. It is impossible to determine what was inside. We failed the test. Could you do a second one?
You consult the
I think in that case,
Tactica Imperium.
I have a nose for profit and the taste for adventure.
yeah, we only get to try those once, and it'll just use whoever's is the most likely to succeed. Psi crystal. Biogel, black water, and unidentified acid. Okay, I'm guessing that like a combination of these things are going to do something. And one of these data things was in one of the notes, so we at least have one part of the puzzle. Lady Cassia's Medicae. Laboratory Journal. The child's influence on the psycho-emotional state of various representatives of the Imperium, access level or Celio T prime. Experiment H45451, low-born male. Test subjects exhibit signs of acute stress. The majority perished of blood loss within a day of being placed in the laboratory chamber due to the inability to halt the discharge of ocular secretions, tears, and the body's subsequent replacement of these secretions with the connective tissue of its internal environment. The individuals with the greatest resistance to the Sacred Child's resonance died several chronoturns later. Extensive wounds in the abdomen, presumably inflicted by a jagged piece of metal. Death was caused by strangulation with the subject's own intestines. Oh my gosh. The subject's final shouts exhibited concerns over abominable tentacles and void worms, hallucinations prescribed to their own internal organs. Okay, lowborn female. The test subjects died within an hour of entering the laboratory adjacent to the child's chambers. Most had their tongues bitten off or their jaws badly dislocated. Some test subjects lacked the physical strength to separate it from the rest of the skull. Cause of death, severe head injuries caused by impacting the walls or the floor. Subgroup. A paralyzed patient who lost the ability to speak due to the shock caused by a manufacturum accident, male. The test subject noted a tingling sensation in the deteriorated tissues during reagent Eronto Orselio's visit to the child. The test subject smiled and started humming, most likely trying to carry some plebeian tune, and then attempted to address the servant who brought him food. A lengthy conversation was prohibitive due to the servant's lack of a tongue. Subgroup: a defective offspring of Lord P. Orselio, pronounced unfit for studying the high art of navigation owing to the mutation of tissue required for installation of the obligatory augmentations that merge one's consciousness with the vessel. Additionally, they display an overall feebleness of mind. The test subjects mirrored the child's actions for 3 days. On the 4th day, the child became upset after hearing the news about the untimely demise of Amos Cantarelli, an officer of her personal guard. As a result, one of the test subjects peeled away several layers of tissue from her face and died from the resulting massive heart attack. Oh my goodness, this is terrible. The last surviving test subject was executed for attempting to contact the child. What the... You guys are up to no good here. What's going on? They all just lost their minds. Please don't kill me. Okay, there seems to be a lot here. Tissue flask. Research knows of Navis Laboratorum Custodian Fortunata Orselia. More and more servants are being influenced by the immaterium, and it has nothing to do with the child's more frequent tantrums. We've discovered that the corrupted flesh of the mutated reacts most unusually to the crystals we purchased from the Winterscale dynasty. Okay, corrupted flesh. We found some flesh here. And the crystal. I've got a crystal there, a psi crystal. I strongly recommend finally grinding the reagent to catalyze the reaction. Do not use acid under any circumstances. Okay, we found acid in there. Do not use it. Trust me, you will not like having to tend to the burns for the next dozen turns in a row. This calls for something more basic. Oh, and one more thing. The tech priest blessed the data crypt H41OK for the calculated number of chrono turns, which means it is no longer necessary to remain near the device while waiting for the reaction to start. H41OK. That one. That's H41OK. The data crypt H40KO malfunctioned over the course of our research. I should remind the technomats to deliver this cursed sacred mechanism into Magos Dioctius's capable hands. Okay, so that seems good. We have to do something with these, I believe. I think the other one mentioned the meteorite chunk. Skin growth. Samples of skin growth. Okay, we have the acid we definitely don't want to use, right? Flesh sample. Navigator flesh sample versus a regular flesh sample. Mutated flesh sample. Okay, there's a lot going on here. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. Adamantine dust and black water. This was the worst idea that could have entered my mind. So I don't want to use those. The adamantine seems to protect the frail flesh of the lowborn to a degree. Not even the macerator can handle its temper, so we should probably introduce a more complex compound into the formula. K040H. I don't think we ever found that one. Nope, right there. Okay. Meteorite, completely useless. Okay, we don't want to use acid. This is useless. That phylactery we need for creating the rod. Okay, I feel like there's something here, but I just don't know what it all is. Okay, you know what? Let's make a save. One of these said remake the control rod. Okay. So there's that. Transducer. Reagent. Data crypt connector. Can we put anything in these? No, unsupported items. Okay, we ruled out the acid. Navigator flesh sample versus biogel. Okay, so what tissue do we need to use? The corrupted flesh of the mutated reacts most unusually to the crystals we purchased from the winter scale. Finally grinding the reagent to catalyze the reaction. So we want the mutant one. That one. Yes? Catalyst flask. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. I don't know if I have that. We don't want to use... Oh, here we go. So that one has to be the biogel because we don't want to use the acid. Oh, wait. No, we have... No, Blackwater and this were ruled out as well. So I think that just leaves the biogel. We want the biogel. Okay, so we got the tissue. We got the connector, the catalyst, and the reagent. Everything's grayed out for that. So I don't know what the reagent is then. We haven't found that. Does the transducer maybe... Oh, that's going to create the reagent from this, isn't it? Yep, we don't want the adamantine. Okay. I think we figured this out correctly.
What's a peculiar thing?
Adaptive Antidot. Grants immunity to toxic damage and inflicts a -10 penalty to toughness until the end of combat. Okay. I mean, it doesn't seem to be something bad, so I think we did it right. Okay. Cool. Do we need any of that stuff anymore? We got the control rod. That's really what we came here for. Alright, I think we're good. Consumables. You have found a consumable item. Grenades, stimulants, medikits, and other consumables can be placed in quick access slots. Each consumable item has a certain number of uses, indicated in the item's description. Using consumable items spends character's action points. My guess is that we might have to fight this child, whatever it is, and I'm thinking that these are going to be useful for that. What do we think? Okay. I'm assuming you can't equip those when you're in a battle, so we'll just do that to make sure that we have what we need.
I always keep my options open.
Do we have enough things to make something else? I'm just kind of curious if we did something here, what would happen? Probably something bad. It's gonna like explode or some shit, but if we have an it won't allow us.
Have a backup
yes, it will.
plan.
Okay, so different tissue. I'm just curious to see what happens. There you go. Okay. Cool. Whoops. Okay, let's just double check there's nothing up here. Okay, that's our way out. And this will be our way up. Yeah, I know. I have it. Where is Felix? Do I need to talk to him? Oh, he's right there. Felix Orselio looks a little better. His tangled hair is now neatly braided, his wounds are tightly bandaged, and there is some healthy color under the scales of his cheeks. You dealt with the threat and powered the elevator. Well done. I trust you brought the activation rod as well. Remember, every second of hesitation may cost my mistress her life. Adira suddenly cocks her head and drives her nails deep into her shoulder. Then she starts mumbling. The crossroads. There are two paths, both stained with blood, both leading to the accursed eye. They all wear masks so poor and flimsy. They fall at the slightest touch, one hiding a blind man, another a traitor. I'm sorry, what paths? I cannot say. One is paved with blind faith, the other with hatred and treachery. Both lead to tragedy. You simply have to decide what kind of tragedy you like the most. I'm sorry, but who is who? Who do you see behind the masks? My whisperers are giggling nastily. They will not speak, the naughty little things. They say that tearing off the masks is your concern. Thank you. I do not understand a single word. Adira nods tiredly and glances at Felix out of the corner of her eye. The station has enough problems without your sorcery, Psyker. Felix waves Adira off and looks at you expectantly. I have many questions regarding what happened on the station. You think they are worthy of the life of my mistress? Who is the child mentioned in the documents and reports? You meddled with something that should have been left alone. The keeper folds his arms and shakes his head disapprovingly. The child is what the station servants call Lady Cassia. For the commoners, dirty mouths must not sully her name by uttering it. You see, it is not beneficial for all servants to have their vocal organs altered. Some prove to be more useful when they are still able to speak. Let's see. The servants alone cannot be blamed for what happened on the station. Most corpses I discovered were either unarmed or feeble. Did you really think mere servants could plan a coup? The senior officers are just as guilty. Half of my guards butchered one another because they suspected treason. As for the real culprit, the coup was staged by those closest to the mistress. Okay. Okay, and I think this confirms that Felix was the one who disabled a bunch of the life, what's the word I'm looking for? Life support systems? Yeah. Yeah, I think this is addressing that. Destroying the shuttles, shutting off the power, and disabling the security systems. Too many things required special access available only to the keeper of the station. As I'm sure you are aware, there were 2 keepers of the station. Your guess is absolutely correct. Theobald Orselio, the demented old man obsessed with Lady Cassia and her power, and also the one to blame for the woes that have befallen Urak 5 and our noble line. Okay. The madmen I fought were convinced that we were the traitors? He gives an indifferent shrug. That's why they are insane. Will you really heed the ramblings of retainers who dared to raise their hand against the scions of a noble bloodline? Yeah, we did read this. This is what I was talking about before. I saw the security captain's report. Only the keepers have access to the station systems. But Theobald stayed aside the entire time and could not have initiated the self-destruct protocol. Which means he did it before the report was filed, or maybe after, or... Felix's stern face twists in disgust. You dare suspect me of what happened? The one who is going out of his way to preserve what little there is still left. By the God Emperor, you will keep these slanderous accusations to yourself. I listened to a recording of a private conversation between the station's officers. You were very lenient towards them, purposefully neglecting security protocols. I was lenient, this is true, and in the end I paid a steep price for it. Just look at the destruction around us. The insurgents have left almost nothing of my home. The keeper spits out the last few words with particular bitterness. Yeah, it feels like he's the one behind the coup, but why? I wish he would explain himself, because I'm not entirely sure what the grand picture of this is. Enough lies, Felix. I am certain that you are the one behind this coup. Felix nods wearily. I suppose it is time to remove my mask. Now, that's funny that he says it specifically that way, considering that Adira just told us that both of them were wearing masks. So I think they're both up to some shady shit. I just don't understand the full picture, so it's hard for me to know who I'm supposed to side with here. Okay. Congratulations, you've got me, but did you really expect me to be sincere this entire time, to welcome you with open arms, an ally of Tisiphone and her monster, the accursed child who has tormented the navigators of House Orselio for years? Don't make me laugh. You arrived to help her completely destroy our house, and I cannot let that happen. Yeah, I wonder if he will explain himself if we push him a little bit. What are you babbling about? I know nothing of this Tisiphone or monsters of any kind. You do not? He hesitates. In that case, accept my sincere apology for the deception of my earlier behavior. I had no intention of making an enemy of von Valancius heir, nor of destroying the station that served as my home for many years. They left me no choice. You cannot even imagine what monster lurks in the upper chambers, an evil, a plague, a pestilence on our bloodline that seeks to destroy House Orselio from within. And Theobald and his followers just mindless fanatics serving this evil. Lady Cassia is a scion of a merciless tyrant, but it is not her relation to Tisiphone that is terrifying. She is a monster whose powers drive servants insane in mere turns. A cursed child who can kill a navigator from the Orselio bloodline with just a look. Honestly, this does sound really bad. I alone managed to get close enough to her over the years. She lowered her guard and trusted me, and at long last I rid my house of the curse. This is the truth. That's interesting. She sounds dangerous. She really does. A lot of people have gone mad. Like I'm trying to see if there's like a tilt to it that I missed in the subtext of the reports. But the things to do with the child, like a lot of people have died just by being in her presence. But we could bring this child on as our navigator specifically. If your cursed child agrees to become my navigator, I will gladly rid you of this burden. You do not understand. This is... He stops mid-sentence, makes a brief pause, and then nods to himself. You are correct, this may work. It certainly is possible. This might be dangerous. I don't know if this is a good navigator for us, but... You are going to need this charm. Bellic hands you a precious stone without a setting. Its luminous surface remains cold to the touch no matter how long you hold it in your hand. If you manage to press it against the monster's skin, whether by force or by guile, the baleful influence of her powers will recede. You will be able to take her and leave the station. Okay. This might be a terrible idea. I'm intrigued, though. Okay. So here's the thing. I don't really know the ramifications of the choice I just made. So, like... I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards just living with whatever happens.
Is there money to be made?
Is this the child? Oh, God. Yeah, she's gonna be dangerous. Fuck. Cassia, the pale figure with unnaturally long limbs, stands with her arms raised, her hands deformed with talon-like nails. Her deathly, pale face is coated with blood that continually streams from her scarlet-misted eyes. Her spiny gills, slightly hidden under her disheveled hair, twitch nervously as you approach. They have gills? Only now do you notice the third eye on the young woman's forehead, hidden by a jeweled ornament. And when your eyes meet, you sense overwhelming, soul-smothering power. Succeeded on a willpower test. We are not good at willpower. I'm actually very surprised by that. But since it's a party-based thing, maybe it's based on our highest willpower in the party? I don't know. You are enveloped in despairing grief. Does it actually tell us the rolls? Yeah, okay, so it did use Adira's. Gotcha. It looks like we had a 100% chance. Cool. You are enveloped in despairing grief, and an invisible hand closes around your throat, cutting off your breath. Your limbs seem to fill with lead, your heart hammers in your chest, and the desire to turn and flee from this room, from this station, almost gets the better of you. At the last moment, you master your emotions, and your will pushes back against the illusion, forcing it to retreat. Adira emits something between a moan and a drawn-out whimper. Ow, ow. As if my own little pals weren't bad enough, now this one's barging into my head. Somebody stop her. Heresy. Argenta looks at the tall figure with a strange mixture of anger and sadness. Then she lowers her head and her white hair veils her face. Okay. Is our chance really 100% on those? Interesting. Now we know that this is what we actually need to do, so... But the question is it better for us to try to use persuasion first? Abelard, is this? Lady Cassia, I presume. The Seneschal stares in the Lady Navigator's direction with a faraway look, then turns sharply away and awkwardly wipes at his eye. Requires Iconoclast. I know why I am here, and so I will stand strong against any illusion. You direct all your attention inward to your heart, currently shackled by another suffering. Under the gaze of your burning inner eye, the despair and pain begin to dwindle. The darkness in your soul dissipates, the lump in your throat shrinks, and you discover that you are standing in front of a bizarre creature, a young woman whose tears you seem to have dried along with your own. She warily shakes her head and lets out a drawn-out sound similar to both a sob and a howl of a small wounded animal. What is happening? Was someone calling my name? Are you all betrayers? Dead already? And you, who are you? I am looking for a navigator to join my crew. You look like you'll do. Just straight to the point. We're gonna play somewhat of a cold character, I feel like, so... Not necessarily evil, not necessarily dogmatic. What is evil in this world? Everything is evil, it seems like, but... Cassia blinks in surprise as her pointed nails reach for the jewel in her forehead. I am afraid I cannot respond to such an unexpected... What is this? I feel faint. Theobald, the heavyset old man who has been kneeling nearby, erupts into low sobs. His eyes, swollen from crying, dart desperately around the room as though the veil of ignorance has just been ripped away from them. The child, Lady Cassia, where are you? Sacred child, throne preserve. Despite his venerable age, the navigator leaps up and rushes to the young woman's side. You... The old man shifts, revealing his face to you. It is threaded with jet black veins, and his bulging milky eyes bear a striking resemblance to those of a dead fish. Lovely. A sickly sweet scent assaults your nostrils, as if the old man's flesh is rotting inside his decaying husk. I'm sorry, but what did you just say? My eyes fail me, for they are unable to make you out as either enemy or ally. I am warning you. One wrong move will bring the wrath of House Valancius down upon your head. Watch out, Lord Captain. This one's so deranged it's making the whispers shriek like crazy. He might just open that eye of his. Threatening the head of the dynasty is grave offense, esteemed. Whoever you are. Abelard places a hand on his weapon. Okay. So it seems like these are 100%. I mean you no harm, I came to seek the navigator's aid. I'll grant that you do not look like pirates who have come coveting the riches of a wrecked station, or like scoundrels in Felix service, so who are you? Analog vernacular von Valancius, rogue trader. You can have Abelard introduce you. Another rogue trader in our corner of the galaxy. How interesting. Your kind always make an appearance in desperate times, ready to cut a deal that benefits one side alone. Given that you have not so far drawn your weapons, your intentions are probably peaceful, and so House Valancius now asks a service of you. Save the life of the child in exchange for future cooperation. Do not hurry to answer, think on it. You can make yourself an ally or an enemy of our house today. You decide. what is the curse that has taken hold of everyone in this room? Theobald frowns. Curse? You do not understand the sacred gift given to our child. When the child is sad, we all weep. When the child smiles, we all laugh giddily. And if the child wants blood, the world turns crimson. The child's will is the will of the great Tisiphone, for she is the heir of House Orselio. And who is Tisiphone? I'm confused about who Tisiphone is. Because she is Cassia, not Tisiphone. Is her last name Tisiphone, maybe? Is it Cassia Tisiphone? And they call me dangerous with my witchcraft, Adira mutters under her breath. You look frightening. The fish eyes look at you with unwavering dignity. Yeah, we can't really see. He doesn't have a portrait either. I'd love a portrait for this guy. You are not supposed to see me, or Felix, or the sacred child. Navigators are highly paid for their loyal service to the Imperium according to his will. No one would dare judge the guides of humanity, the chosen of the galactic sovereign himself. Okay? I want to know what happened between you and Felix. Felix is my wayward student. He came to Uruk 5 as a callow youth. I personally mentored him and entrusted him with the care of the child. He was like a son to me, but he proved to be just another traitor. He sought to steal our most precious treasure, the heir of our house, our sacred child, to revel in power with others like him, casting our house into the abyss, to pervert the centuries-long traditions of our family. You can see the fruits of his villainy for yourself. He decided he was not bound by his duties to the legacy of the greatest of our novitors, a patriarch or matriarch that rules over a navigator house, the figurative and often biological father or mother of the dynasty. Okay. He was not bound by the duties of the legacy of the greatest of our novitors, Tisiphone Orselio, who led our house to prosperity for countless years. Okay, so Tisiphone is their matriarch or patriarch, I'm not sure which. Foolish boy, the renegades clouded his mind. They sought to seize control of the dynasty before the sacred child had come of age and taken up the Novator's throne. So choose whose side you are on, a murderous traitor or the lawful scion of a noble house. Theobald speaks these words softly, looking at the unconscious young woman with reverence. Okay. And what service do you ask of me? Hope glimmers in the navigator's milky eyes. Save the sacred child. Take her away from the station. I fear I do not have long left. A bluish rivulet trickles down the old man's chin, and he wipes the mutated blood brusquely away from it with his sleeve. You glimpse strange burns covering his flesh. Under his clothing, the slightest movement must be causing him unbearable pain. Save the child and deliver her safely to Regent Aronto, acting head of House Orselio, in the Koronus Expanse. Rest assured that the reward will be worthy of your effort. I know he came here for a navigator, but after everything we've seen, I've got some reservations about this girl. Argenta looks at Cassia, and a painful furrow appears on her brow. Such a fragile thing with such a heavy burden upon her shoulders. You're talking as though you expect to die here. He shrugs indifferently. My service to the house is coming to an end. The wounds Felix inflicted on my flesh will never heal. I am dying. Praise the throne slowly enough to see that the child is taken care of. There is a deck on my ship. He shakes his head. No, I am the keeper of Uruk 5, and I will perish along with my station. On that note, I have other matters to attend to. How did you lose control of your own station? Do not thrust my errors in my face. I am twice your age, and twice as wise. Take my advice, trust no one but yourself and the Emperor. Even those closest to you will betray you for gold, power, or a far-fetched idea of a bright future. Well, I mean, everything we've experienced in this world so far definitely lends to that statement being 100% true. So Felix said that the child is a monster, a legacy of tyranny that must be wiped out. And you believe him, after everything he has done to the station. Felix only wishes to dispose of the heir and take the reins in his blood-stained hands. Do not besmirch Lady Cassia's good name. The child is the holiest and most innocent creature on this entire station. Okay? I believe I've made my decision. Is that so? Please share your thoughts. Okay? Felix is the true monster here. Let's do away with him, together. Theobald dips his head in favor of the proposition. Allies are always welcome, even temporary ones. I will revive the child. Do not be alarmed. The power of House Orsalia's heir will help us to destroy our enemies and shield us from Felix Navigator forces. But you, rest for a time before the battle. Okay. Dangerous girl's joining us, I guess. Gonna be our navigator. Okay, well, I think this is where we're gonna end this episode. So, thank you all for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and in the next episode, I guess we're fighting Felix. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.
I'd like to give a very special shout out to my patron supporters: Darren York, ZTD, Knife Namaste, Kyle the Monarch, Chris Murphy, JW, Quinless, Vlado101, Andy Ford, Bruce Wizzle, Black Mamba 90, Eureka Gecko, A Happy Fat Panda, Turkeyfoot 27, Pedo Kuto, Shadow Raven, and Nadia N. If you would also like to join this tier or any others, check out my memberships or my Patreon in the description down below.